What is going on? Happy Saturday, and welcome to Mike Rock Uncensored. I'm glad that we're here live. In case you don't know, we're live on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter right now. I'm hoping to go live on Rumble in the upcoming future, but Rumble has their own ways to get connected with them, and I'm just not looking to go through all of that right now. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll get there when we get there, and I need to get my better internet connection back. We had some drama here at the house over the past couple of weeks, and I have until I'm where I want to be with my trucking situation. I have to pick and choose my priorities when it comes to bills and everything else. So we have an internet connection. We just don't have the internet connection that we've had in the past. I'm looking forward to getting that back. So if you're on Instagram and it's a little bit glitchy and stuff, I do apologize for that. We will get back to where we need to be in the next. I'm hoping by the end of the month, maybe sooner. We'll see. Anyways, man, you guys saw the title. We're calling it "Get Off Your Ass." Or excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't just say get off your ass. I said get off your fat ass. and before, wow, I got an eyebrow sticking up. That's crazy. Um, it isn't just about being fat, man. There's a lot of things that I've decided that we're going to start doing this year, and I think one of the biggest things is we need to stop sugarcoating shit. We have a tendency because we have all of these sensitive people out here who have been groomed, among other things, to be afraid of what people say, to be afraid of words, to be offended by every last thing that we say. That we can't even use the word fat. We can't let people know that they're being fat or they're being fat and lazy, or that yeah, you are really big in that dress. Like we just can't do these things anymore, and I think it's ridiculous because it's being fat. If you want to get serious, if you want to just put the jokes to the side, being fat is unhealthy. I know because I've been fat for a number of years. I've let myself go from the days when I was in the military and fought forest fires and played basketball. I am not the same person now that I was back in the day, and I have gotten fat, and it doesn't offend me because I know that's what I am. I'm not content or complacent with who I've been, and so I've made a lot of effort. I've taken a lot of effort and steps to change that part about my life. But if I was complacent, if I was okay with being fat, if I know that that's what I am, then why am I going to be offended by the people who point it out, even if it's not intentionally meant to insult me? Like it's just, yeah, you're in. Oh, use the words unhealthy instead of fat. No, fat is fat. Whether it was intended to be insulting or not, I can intentionally mean to insult you by calling you quote unquote unhealthy. Man, you look unhealthy in that dress. I mean, it's really about our intentions. And I think at the end of I think when all is said and done, we need to be in a place where if we're happy with who we are, then we shouldn't be offended by what people call us. And if you're not happy with who you are and what you've done, then you should find the power within you to change it. And that's where we're at with this get off your fat ass thing, because it isn't just about being fat or unhealthy. It's also about being lazy. It's also about procrastinating. It's also about knowing what needs to get done in your own life and choosing, making a conscious effort not to make excuses for why you're not getting those things done. And again, I am getting to a place to where I can speak more from experience than anything else, and this is exactly what I'm speaking on is my own personal experience, because working in this trucking industry is starting to it's not only giving me the results or the desired outcome that I was looking for, but I'm discovering a lot about myself that I just wasn't aware of before or prepared to discover about myself. And I can see the Instagram live feed is a little messed up, so I apologize if you guys are watching that. We might have to discontinue Instagram live feed until I can get that connection working again. But anyways, um, One of the things is I didn't realize, I mean, I knew I was fat. I knew I was out of shape. I just didn't realize how out of shape I actually was. And it wasn't, me being sore. It wasn't me not being able to do the job that forced me to be aware. It was when I started to recover. It was when the soreness began to go away, and I realized not how much more energy I was beginning to have, in not just my work, but in my role as a father and as a friend and everything else when I got home. I have so much more energy now that I'm getting out of my fat and lazy stage. And but I never would have known that. I never would have been able to admit that to myself until I put myself into a position where I was forced to do better. And that's where we're at. It is like, again, who is this? Scott Smith, what's going on as always? So when I say get off your fat ass, what we're trying to do is we're now trying to help people. We're trying to encourage people to do whatever it is that they need to do. Whatever your what do you call it, New Year's resolution was. Don't just say it out loud. We got to get back to a place where where we actually mean what we say, and we say what we mean, or vice versa. We need to get out there and we need to start doing it. We can joke around all day. I can call you fat ass, you can call me fat ass, but what I'm really saying is, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting that new job, whatever it is that's going to stop you from depending on everyone else, or being able to complain about everything else, or everything else that if someone else has that you don't, or that you want. Like, what do we have to do? Because I've learned since the COVID pandemic, when I was forced to change my entire lifestyle, I've learned that we are victims of our own choices. We aren't victims of what people say to us, or how people describe us. We're not victims of those things. We're victims of our own choices. And I personally, I can speak for myself. I got to a point to where I wasn't being productive enough. I wasn't being active enough. And I wasn't necessarily blaming other people. I wasn't at that stage in my life just yet, but I was. I was at a point to where I was unhappy, and I honestly didn't really, the things that I blamed, and I blamed myself to a point, but I wasn't really willing to blame myself for being inactive, for not having the job. I would say things like, hey, I know I'm qualified, or I know I can do a better job than this person who has it over here, but I really wasn't ready or willing to blame myself entirely for the choices that I was making entirely on my own. I was choosing to take those naps. I was choosing not to continuously look for the right job. I was choosing not to blame COVID and everything else for why I wasn't where I needed to be, and the steps I needed to take to get there. So yeah, when we say get off your fat ass, number one, if you're fat and unhealthy like I have been, if you're happy with it, then don't let what people say bother you. But if you're not, take the simple steps that are necessary to start getting you into a new cycle, and into a new area of your life where you're being more active on a regular basis. Because I'm nowhere close to where I want to be as far as working out and getting in shape and everything else. But I can tell you that the simple things that I have done, getting out there and working every day, doing this trucking job just on a regular basis, and choosing to go and take walks instead of laying inside of the sleeper berth all day when I've got the free time. Those little things that I have done have actually changed my life tremendously already. The excuses are going away. I think Snoop Dogg said it. Drop the excuses and pick up a purpose. And I've picked up the purposes, and the excuses, they're just going away. They really are. I feel healthier. I'm not, I'm losing weight a little bit at a time, but I'm not, I got to change this over. Sorry about that. I'm losing weight a little bit at a time, but the most important thing is that I'm getting more energy. I'm feeling better about myself. I'm looking forward to what happens next. And I haven't even begun to see what the desired outcome, the way that I want it to be, the way that I want to. Like, I'm in training right now, and I'm making like $800, $900 a week, something to that effect. But once I'm out of training, then I'm closer to $1,500, $2,000 a week. And once I'm making that kind of money, then the real changes start, not because money is the end all have all, but because it's the tool that I've been looking for, that I've needed in order to grow in order for my plan to grow, the more order for my plan to build and to get to where I want to be. I want to have that house and I want to have that new car, but I also want to be able to just simply pay off my debts. I want people to know that the same person I was when I didn't have money is exactly the same person I was when I got that money. It's not going to change me. I'm going to use it to change my circumstances to help my family and and some of my friends. That's the plan. But yeah, I think a lot of us are procrastinating. And it's not for me to tell you whether you are procrastinating or not. I think you can look at your own situation and you can tell whether or not you're being lazy, whether or not all you've got is excuses because you're too afraid of what's going to happen when you take those desired steps. When you know that if I execute plan A or plan B, then I'm going to have to go through a period of, I'm going to have to struggle for a little while in order for me to get to where I want to be. But I can tell you from experience that it's worth it. If you have the vision and you've got the game plan and you know that if you just go through that little bit of struggle, that you're going to get to where you want to be and life is just going to be better for yourself. Life is just going to be better overall as a whole. It's worth it. That struggle is worth it, and that's where I've been. I want to be able to encourage other people to be able to do the same thing. That you have to understand that sometimes we have to struggle in order to strengthen our relationships, in order to improve our current circumstances, whatever it is. We have to make the conscious decision to go through that struggle, to get off our fat asses. I don't care if you weigh 2 pounds. If the only thing keeping you from reaching your goals is being lazy, is for blaming everybody else for everything that you've ever gone through, then you're being a fat ass. You can be a fat ass physically, and then you can have the mindset of being a fat ass, which is procrastinating and everything else. And I know a lot of sensitive people will hear this word and be offended by what I say and try to give me the extreme alternative to why we shouldn't be using these words, like the people who are medically induced overweight, or they have some kind of medical condition that keeps them overweight. Well, my thing is, let those people speak up for themselves. It doesn't being the people who have medical conditions that make them fat, that make them overweight, that make them who they are. It doesn't make an excuse for the people who are overweight and fat, both physically and mentally, for reasons that have nothing to do with a medical condition. And I get tired of people using other people's excuses for why they fail to succeed. It doesn't just go for, I wholeheartedly agree, because I've been in this situation where it's easy to trust the government, to depend on the government for the things that we need, because that's the kind of society, that the system that they've built. They want us dependent on them, so that they can continue to remain in control. I believe wholeheartedly that those are the kind of things and decisions that they make. But the thing is they're not forcing you to do it. They're not forcing you to choose food stamps and Section 8 and all these other things over getting a job or getting an education to get a better job. They're not forcing you to do those things. And then there's nothing to say that if you are doing those things or you are in that situation, that you can't take advantage of the other resources to help you improve your situation, because it isn't chances, it's 100%. Like it's a resource that is available to you if you qualify for food stamps, and if you qualify for Medicaid or Medicare, and if you qualify for Section 8, you're going to qualify for the other opportunities available to you to help you improve your life. There's educational benefits, there's grants, there's a lot of other things that you're going to qualify for if you're just willing to reach out there and take advantage of them. But you'll take advantage of the easy things, but you won't take advantage of the things to improve your life. And that's what makes you a fat ass. That's what makes you the person that's continuously making excuses. You want to go shopping for food, but do you actually want to go to school to improve, or whether it's school or vocational training, whatever? How often have you looked into those things to find out what you qualify for so that you can better your life? It's easier to blame other people for what you don't have than to just take ownership over what's going on in your life. And again, as always, I'm speaking from experience on this matter because I've been the fat ass. I've been the person who didn't take ownership for why I was going through what I was going through. But I can wholeheartedly admit that I could have made some better choices. That I could have been constantly looking for that job or seeking a better educational opportunity. And you have it in you to do that as well. I man, you know what? I'm trying to be a professional in what I say, some of the things that I say, but I'm also getting to the point to where I don't really care about things coming out the wrong way. If you choose to twist my words, take things out of context, then that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. If you don't want to see that, despite the jokes, despite what you consider an insult, despite everything that I say, if you can't see that what I want, what I really want, is for people to do better, for people to come together, to stop uh, to stop listening to the government and be willing to create the continued divisiveness amongst each other, which only benefits, it doesn't benefit us at all. It benefits them. It benefits everybody else. If you choose not to see that, then I'm even willing to go as far as to say, not only do I not care, but you're part of the bigger problem. If I can sit here and talk to you, and you can insult me, and at the end of the day we can still be friends, but when we put the shoe on the other foot, I can't say what needs to be said. I can't speak my mind without worrying whether or not we're going to continue to be friends. The one thing I can promise you, that chances are really good we're not going to be friends anyway, because the minute that I see that I offend you, or the minute that I see that I have to be careful, I have to walk on eggshells in order to speak my mind, we're not going to be friends. I don't want those kind of people in my life. You can go do you all by yourself. I'll stay in my lane. You can stay in your lane. I just don't have time for that kind of negativity. And I think we all need to respond to those type of people in that kind of way. If you've got the liberals and the progressive, and now I'm starting to see some of you on the right hand side that are willing to lose those relationships and censor people because you don't agree with them, because you don't want the rest of the world to listen to what they have to say. Who is this? Andrew Current. What's up, bud? If you don't have the patience and the tolerance to be able to listen to what people have to say, chances are you really don't have a lot of truth on your side in the first place, and that's why you need to censor people. Because to me, that's what's going on with the right now. For the longest time, when the liberals and the progressives were in control, it was easy to argue against them on matters of truth, because a lot of the things that they said wasn't scientifically backed up. It wasn't even backed up with common sense and basic facts. It was shit that they were trying to invent, that they were trying to force on the rest of us. And so it was easier back then to take truth and argue with these people, as opposed to trying to censor them. They were the products of, so they were the instruments of censorship at the time, because they didn't have a lot of truth on their side. But now we've kind of switched roles, and the right has gotten in control. But then now you have the moderates from both the left and the right who are seeing a lot of things wrong with what's going on right now with Trump in office. And they're still using those truths to say, hey, that may not have been right over there, but now we've got some things we need to discuss over here that also aren't right. And now that, these extremists on the right side no longer have truth on their side, because they're arguing against the right that actually had truth on their side the whole time. Now all of a sudden they've become the instruments of censorship. Now they want to censor everybody else because they can't debate the facts. They can't speak on truth, so they attack these people's characters because they don't want you listening to what they have to say. And I know we've kind of got off topic just a little bit, but that's all to me. It's a part of being lazy as well. It's a part of being that having that fat ass mentality where you're willing to listen or at least take the side of people that you need in your life. You need the dependency of the government to continue your way of life, or at least to get those food stamps or whatever the case may be, and you're not willing to ask the questions that instinctively you already know you have. And I will always bring up people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and now Megyn Kelly as examples because they've been left. And then they became right when they realized that there was more common sense, logic, and facts speaking for the right as a whole. But then they have also since then decided to argue matters, to debate matters on the right because they don't wholeheartedly agree with that. And I'm not going to say anybody is ever 100% right or wrong, but you should be willing to ask the questions. And if we can prove that you're wrong, then hopefully you'll change your mind. But when we're asking the right questions, and instead of people giving us answers, what they decide to do instead is to censor us, to attack our characters, to make us feel like bad people, not because we are, but because we're asking questions that don't make them look very good. All of a sudden, they these censorship instruments, they will then come to the fat asses, the people that don't really want to do their job and ask the right questions, and convince us that these people are bad. Caveman, me bad. Don't listen to them. We'll give you things. It's dumb. It's really dumb. I'm looking at, and I'll give you an example, man. Right now, there's a dude, and I keep speaking out against him because in the beginning, I had so much respect for this individual. His name's Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum. I had so much respect for this individual because, as long as you're not speaking against Israel, for instance, he makes a lot of sense. And he's a black individual. I don't really care about, I don't care. I wouldn't care so much about, what his ethnicity is if I didn't also feel that he was kind of a sellout. I see him speaking out or speaking up for Israel, speaking out against anyone who speaks up for Israel, but I don't really ever see him doing anything to support the black culture, to try to get the black communities to come together and to start doing better for themselves. He will speak against them. He will say, it's like he's trying to prove that I'm the white black guy. It's like, I don't, just because you have an education, just because you don't agree with what's going on in the black communities, to me, that doesn't make you an Uncle Tom. What makes you an Uncle Tom is when you are trying to prove that you are something that you're not. When you're trying to prove in every sense of the word that I am pro-Israel, even though, there's a lot of, I can't see how you can be pro-Israel if you're also a Christian. Just putting that out there. I'm not a diehard Christian. I'm not overly religious. But when I look at the things that the people of the Jewish community believe, as opposed to what the Christians believe, I just don't understand how we, as Americans with a Christian foundation, for those of us who have that, can side with being pro-Israel or pro whatever that just doesn't agree with their own faith. And that happens when you actually aren't doing the homework. A lot of us moderates aren't doing the homework to know what that means, to know what it means to be pro-Israel, to know, which side we're choosing when it comes to our faith and our religion, because we're being fat asses and we're choosing not to do the homework. But then you've got these other ones, like these influencers, like a Brandon Tatum. He knows what the other side believes, but it's more profitable. Whether it comes to his followers, his people, his favorability with the Jewish communities, whatever it is, it's become more profitable for him to take that side. It's easier. It's the path less traveled, basically, for him to take the side of being pro-Israel as opposed to being pro-American, because he sees what's going on with Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and a Candace Owens for simply asking questions, or for providing receipts that doesn't necessarily agree with the pro-Israel narrative. And I'm actually looking at a tweet right now. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. I'm looking at his one of his tweets right now, and he says the fall of these two is something to behold, and you can see who he's speaking on. Never thought I'd see the day, but here we are, dumb and dumber out here defending a Nazi, racist, white supremacist, incel, Jew hater. And if you don't know who he's speaking on, he's speaking about them defending a Nick Fuentes. And if you just listen to what the media is saying, you're listening to what these influencers are saying when they speak on Nick Fuentes. I'm not a Nick Fuentes fan. He has some ideologies. He has some things that he believes in that I don't agree with at whatsoever. But he also isn't trying to be as offensive as they want you to believe he is. They're because he's speaking out, speaking from a Christian foundation, because he's speaking on things that don't agree with or speak out against the pro-Israel agenda. They're attacking everything else that he believes in. He's not a Nazi, and yes, he probably is a racist to an extent, but when you really look into where he's a racist, it isn't that he hates black people. He just doesn't want to mix his race with any other race. He wants to keep the purity of his own race. So it isn't that he's speaking out against black people or Mexican people or any, it's not that he's speaking out against them necessarily. He just, when it comes down to it, he believes in trying to preserve the purity of his own race. And I don't agree with that either. I'm just saying that he doesn't have hatred towards everybody else, is what I'm saying. But these pro-Israel Israelites and people like Brandon Tatum, who's also pro-Israel, they want you to believe that he's something that he's not. They don't want you to understand by doing your own homework that all of these problems with Nick Fuentes started happening when he started standing out against people like Ben Shapiro, when he started speaking out against the pro-Israel movement at a much earlier stage. They also don't like the fact that he's as young as he is, and he has the listening ear of the younger generations, the younger Republicans. He has their ear already, and so they're doing everything they can to make him look like more of an enemy than he actually is. And that's the only thing that people like Tucker Carlson and a Megyn Kelly and a Candace Owens are trying to get you guys to see. Make up your own mind about what's going on. Don't listen to everything you hear in the media when making a decision about what's right and what's wrong. And for me, like and that's part of the fat ass mentality that I've been talking to you guys about. Stop being lazy. Stop just taking people's word for it, for what you hear. If something doesn't sound right, chances are really good there's something not right about that situation. And it's not fair it's not fair to ridicule and attack people who are only trying to give us the truth on what's going on in the world. We need more of the truth, not less, and not a lesser amount of it. I hope I'm saying that right. Because even with somebody like a Donald Trump, I want him to do good. He's our president. Even when Joe Biden was in office, I really don't like that man whatsoever, but he's the president of the United States. And I wanted him to do some good in this country. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. With Donald Trump, I don't agree with with some of the things that he's doing right now. I agree with what he's doing on immigration, maybe not the delivery of it, but the fact that we did need to enforce our immigration policies. We did need to strengthen our borders. We did need to do a lot of those things. But I will also agree that there was a better way of doing it. Sometimes, especially with as bad as it's been, you can only do what you can with what you've got. And so, it's not for me to say whether that was the best option at the time. I'm just saying that I look at it and I personally think that there was a better way. But at the end of the day, something is getting done. What I don't agree with is the fact that all of these distractions, these deflections, so to speak, that they're using to keep us from keeping our eye on the ball. And The only people that are going to allow this to happen are the fat asses that we've been talking about, the lazy mentalities that don't want to at least explore and investigate the possibility that there is an alternate truth to what's going on right now. And you look at this whole Somali daycare situation going on right now. Is it wrong what they're doing? Yes, absolutely. Are the facts that they're reporting true? Yes, absolutely. There's been billions of dollars that they're finding that they've investigated and found that they have been stealing from taxpayer dollars through this whatever they're doing with this fraudulent daycare system that they've created for themselves. It's wrong. They need to pay the price. If they're not from this country and they've proven to have done a crime, yes, they need to be deported. But the distraction and the deflection is there. They created this new worldwide drama in effect to keep us off of the promise that they've broken to deliver not just the Epstein files, but the predators on the Epstein list. And I don't care if there's an actual list. We know that they know who at least some of these sexual predators are. And when Trump campaigned on the promise to deliver those people to us, to have a full-blown investigation done, a lot of us voted on those promises, not just that one promise, other promises as well. They promised us transparency, but not only are they not delivering the Epstein list, they're doing all of these things to blind us from the facts that were supposed to be put out for us by now. It's been a whole year. They've already had all of this evidence. Why are we still being railroaded on who's on that list? Why? And I've been one to defend the accusations against Trump about him being a racist. I don't think there's enough evidence out there to support. I'm just being honest. I don't feel I'm not saying he is or he isn't racist. I'm saying that if we let this justice system do its job, there isn't enough evidence out there to support him being racist. Actually, there's a lot of evidence to support the exact opposite. So I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost some, not a lot. I've lost some friends and I lost a couple of family members to the fact that I wasn't prepared to just label a man racist because that's what the media and the government needed, not wanted. They needed us to believe. I just choose to think for myself. And because I chose to think for myself, I've got some people that all of a sudden don't want to be my friend no more. And I'm actually okay with that. And my shit just froze. Hold on. Why did my shit freeze? Can you guys still hear me out there? I got 50% of my frames dropped over the last couple of seconds. I think my internet went out for a second. I don't know. It'll come back at some point. Let me see if I can change my camera. Turn my camera off and on. Hello, hello, hello. And this is what I mean by having bad internet connection. Hold on, me. Hello, hello. Oh, shit. I turned my audio off. My bad. All right, man, we're back. I apologize. I don't know how much you guys heard, but we were speaking on Trump being a racist. That's what we were doing. I muted my microphone because I thought my stream stopped, and then my video came back unfroze, but I didn't unmute my microphone, so I apologize. So we were talking about Trump being a racist, and it's really, even though I don't believe he is a racist, that's my personal opinion. If you've got evidence out there, I say this all the time. If you have unequivocal evidence that Trump is a racist, then I invite you to send me that evidence so that we can discuss it. We may do it live, we may do it in private, whatever the case. I'm going to be transparent about the whole thing. And if you can change my mind with the evidence, then you have done a really good job. All I'm really saying is that the evidence that we have out there right now, there's nothing out there that proves that Trump is a racist. We have all done something in our life that could suggest that we might be a particular thing. I've done some things, I've said some things, I've joked about some things that would suggest to some other people that I might be gay. But I'm not. I've never been gay. I've never thought about another man. I've never wanted to kiss another man. None of those things are true, but I'm sure there's some things that I've done that have made people in the back of their mind question, well, maybe. And it's the same thing. You can't come to me with one situation unless that one situation was him coming out saying, I am unequivocally and undoubtedly the most racist person on the planet. You're not going to be able to take one situation, especially when they're telling you they're not racist, and then say, well, he said he's not racist. A lot of the things that he's done proves that he's not racist, but we got this one little thing, and we want you to take this one little thing and use it to prove that he is. Now, but I will also say that it gets harder to prove that he's not, or prove that our government as a whole isn't racist when minorities are paying for the things that they're doing wrong, and we're blasting it out in the media for the things that they're doing wrong, but we can't get the same done with our elite. I don't think it's a racist thing. I think it's the rich versus the poor. It's yes, and when I say let's change that. The elite versus the minority or the poor. I think that that's what it comes down to. And yes, a lot of those people that are in that elite status, that have that power of eliteness, yes, a lot of them are white. But we're confusing white because the white elites care nothing about the white trailer trash. They care about nothing about the white middle class to an extent. They only care enough about everybody as far as it goes to support who they are and to keep them in positions of power. It's the elite versus everybody else, and that's what we need to start saying. It isn't a racist thing. It's the elite against everybody else. We'll go after the Somalis because we don't consider them elite. They're Somalis. They don't support the Jewish communities. They don't support the elite communities. They need to go. People are starting to pay attention to what's going on within the elite class. So we need to create distractions, and we need to destroy some other people, even if it means we create war in the process to get people's mind and off of who we are, that deep state, that elite status, the people who are the real corrupt people that are destroying what's going on in this country, that keep us divided. They keep us divided and distracted so we don't pay enough attention to them. That's the reality of what's going on. It isn't racism. And we need to get our minds off of the idea and stop letting people convince us that this is about racism. Do racist people exist? Absolutely. But is what's going on in this country, is it about racism? And no, it is not. It is the elite against everybody else. Yeah, I muted myself, Andrew. That's what it is. And Trump, I don't know what changed in this man. I don't know if somebody got to him, if they threatened him, but the man I voted for isn't necessarily the man isn't that man right this second. I still hope he does some good, a lot of good. And I still think that he can, and I absolutely think he will to an extent. The problem, however, is I don't think I'm convinced at this point is that he will not. He has proven that he is not going to do what needs to be done with that elite status. He is not. Who was it? Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she got labeled as a traitor because she pushed the Epstein files and she told basically the Republicans that I am not going to let this go. And so they made her look like a traitor. They attacked her character and she ended up resigning because at the end of the day, her family matters to her more than anything else. I don't know all of the facts, but I can tell you that the message that they're selling you in the media about Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's not the truth. That's nowhere close to the truth. I'm not saying she's the greatest person on the planet. I don't know her like that. And I won't sit up here and judge and tell you that I know a person when I don't. All I'm saying is that what they want you to believe for why she quit that's not the truth. She tried to push something that didn't agree with the Republican or MAGA agenda, and they ridiculed and attacked her for it. And you know this. How do you know this? Because again, they didn't attack the facts, they attacked her. And at the end of the day, if I'm the most evil man on the planet, if I am a Nazi, but I come to you and tell you that 2 plus 2 equals 4, no matter who I am, does that stop 2 plus 2 from being 4? And it doesn't. The facts are the facts, no matter who gives that information to you. And that's where we fail. That's where we as a society are mentally fat asses because we fail to pay attention to the facts at hand. We would rather listen to the attack on the person because it's trending or because it's popular or because it's fun and it feels good. And then at some point we'll just ignore the truth that's going on. A lot of us, there's nobody right now that I can question that if I asked them if they wanted the Epstein files released or not, nobody in their right mind will tell you no. But let them distract you with something else long enough, and now you're no longer talking about it. Now you're no longer making demands on whether that list gets released or not because they have occupied your brain cells with all of these other things so that you're no longer thinking about the Epstein files. You got the Venezuela, the change of regime in Venezuela. You've got what's going on with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. All of a sudden, they're evil people because they're speaking on the truth. They're speaking truth as they know it, I should say. You've got the Somali agenda. Even though they're still in, and here's an example, a parallel example of that of what I'm trying to say. They're telling you that the Somalis stole billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, with this daycare fraud. But we have evidence to show that ActBlue, the people who were funding and supporting the Democrats with all of this extra money, that they stole even more. And there's evidence to prove and support that. But you don't see that in the media. You don't see us talking about the elites that stole hundreds of billions of dollars. No, it has to be more important that the Somalis did it. And that's where it starts to get... and that's where we start blurring the lines between elite status and racism. They want you to think that it's racist. It's not racist. It's elitist. I don't know how we would put the label on that, but it isn't racist. It's the elite protecting themselves. They don't care what you label it as long as you don't label it them. Nobody has taken more money from the taxpayers or from the taxpayers' wallet more than our government and the people who protect the elite. Because the people who protect the elite, they get rewarded for those protections. And I'm including you know what, on the one hand, I would love to be an influencer that people actually listen to. I would probably be assassinated at some point in my life because I am one of those that refuse. I'm going to make enough money in my lifetime to where I don't have to lie to kick it. I don't have to sit up here and feed you guys BS because I truly believe that there is a niche. You know, if we truly speak just financial status, I believe that there's enough money out there speaking the truth In fact, there's probably more if you're willing to go against the grain. There's enough money out there to support me and my family by telling the truth than to sit up here and lie to you guys so that it makes it easier for me to kick it. But I would probably they would attack me because if I was on that level where more people were listening to me, they would have to now be concerned with me telling the truth about certain things. And because I have access to those truths, they're going to be even more afraid. The more influential you become, the more people who trust you with information, then people start calling you and giving you things that you wouldn't have access to before. The people, the whistleblowers, and all those other, if they can't trust you to get that information out there, why are they going to trust you with that information? Simply because you're not on a level to where you can provide it to the rest of the world. So they're not going to trust you with. They're not going to trust they're not going to risk their own lives to give you that information because it's not going to accomplish anything. And I just believe that if I was on that level, and I'm kind of glad I'm not, at least at this point, because if I was at that level, I'd be in danger. Because I'm not at that level, I can say the things that need to be said, and then people just simply choose not to watch for whatever reason. And that's okay. Sooner or later, people will be like, you know what? After all this time, this dude, he may not always be right. He may be a fool sometimes, but he's always tried to be real with us, and maybe we should start paying attention. But I just this we are paying attention to things going on over here, because they don't want us paying attention to the things that are actually going on over here. And Trump he is not. Overall, is he doing a good job? Yes, but I'm going to tell you how I truly feel right now. I don't give a fuck. I really don't, right? Yes, I care about the price of groceries. I care about this country doing better as a whole. But we don't necessarily need Trump in order to do that. What we need is more of us people coming together and making better decisions overall for this country. That's what we need first and foremost. And I am not willing to compromise who I am as a man, who I am as a father, who I am as a citizen in this country in order to accomplish the things that they say that they're trying to accomplish. And I say that because as a father and as a man, I cannot protect, promote, vote for, or anything else a person who is willingly choosing to protect pedophiles simply because they have some form of elite status. Who is that? For whatever reason, my alerts aren't popping up right now anymore either. And I apologize because whoever did that, hello, say hello in the comment section. I'll give you recognition because for whatever reason, all of my stuff um, on my streaming platform just decided to fail me. But yeah, I don't have undying faith to a particular individual. I want to see our country do better, and I believe that that us as a whole are the ones that are supposed to make the decisions that better this country, not any one person. So when that person or that administration decides that they need to protect the elite, even if they are proven pedophiles, we need to protect them over the people. You no longer have my support. I cannot. That's where everybody has a place where they draw the line, and I draw my line at the idea of protect, and not just the idea. I draw the line where we're in a position where we can protect our kids, and we simply choose not to. Those victims at the time, they may have grown up, they may have become adults, they still deserve justice. But those elite pedophiles and predators are still out there. We're not doing anything about it. And so we don't know what else they're guilty of, what else they're doing, or who they're grooming to be next in line. And Trump said something, Marjorie Taylor Greene said this once before, and I believe it to be true. What's up, Alex, man? Thanks for liking the stream, man. I believe it to be true. She said that when she brought up when they were discussing the Epstein files, Trump told her that if they release the names of the people on that list or whoever was involved, that it was going to hurt a lot of people. And my answer to that is, so what? If that's what needs better, then that's what needs to happen, because we don't need to be protecting anyone who thinks it's okay to hurt our children at all. I don't care. Flip the country upside down. Let's start over from scratch, and let's build a system, a government that isn't there for the power of it all. I would even be willing to pay our government more money if they weren't allowed to do certain things. If you while you're in office, you're not allowed to do any trading. You're not allowed to do anything that allows you to use our government, to use this country to profit yourself. We should not allow that. And if we can create that system, then let's pay them enough money to where they don't have to worry about that. It saves us more money as taxpayers in the end, because we don't have to worry about those politicians cheating us, because they could take care of themselves. I'm all for it. But Trump lost so I still hope he does good, simply because he's the man in charge of this country, and I don't want to see this country fail because of because of bad decisions, poor decisions made by one person or one administration. I don't care who's in office. I don't care if I voted for them or not. I never want to see our president or our administration do bad, because it impacts and affects the rest of this country. But I can't support anybody either who thinks it's okay to protect pedophiles, who thinks it's okay to protect the people on the Epstein list, and wants to use something like the Somalis and this daycare fraud as a distraction, as a deflection from what's really going on in the world. And that's what's going on. The Somali situation, yes, it's bad. It has taken billions of dollars away from the taxpayer. They need to pay. Absolutely. Lists. And we can't let go of that. We can't choose to forget. We can't choose to ignore. We can't let them buy us off, because we will only be back to square one when it's all said and done. When it's all over with, we're just going to be back to square one. Anyways, man, I'm done talking. You guys, I just let that be food for thought. As in summary, don't be a lazy fat ass. Whatever you want to accomplish here in 2026, just know it's well within your power to accomplish that. You may have to do it in steps. You're trying to lose weight. It took you a minute to gain the weight, so it's going to take you a minute to lose the weight. But the thing is don't expect immediate results, and you'll do just fine. Focus on the smaller rewards as you get there. You lost 5 pounds. You lost 10 pounds. Go out and celebrate. Be happy with yourself. Your energy levels have improved. And that's just what I mean by don't be a fat ass. Same thing with your finances. Same thing with your job situation. Same thing with your relationship. If you think you've been a bad father or a bad husband, stop being a fat ass. Whatever it takes for you to make better decisions, so that you can improve those relationships, so that you can better your financial situation, so that you can lose weight and be more healthy. Being a fat ass doesn't mean that you're overweight. Being a fat ass means that you're not willing to do anything about it. And it looks like my signal is starting to go out again. Oh, there, we're back. I need better internet service, man. My son decided to move out and whatever. He refused to pay his bills on the way out. So I'm kind of stuck with a larger bill. It's keeping me from doing things that I love, like gaming with you guys, doing these videos. And so we'll get to where we need to be. And to my son, if he's listening, man, I'm not angry with you, bro. I want what's best for you. I want you to do better. I hope that whatever decisions that you're making right now turn out as always, I hope they turn out and for what's best for you, man. I got nothing but love. I love you to death, and I wish nothing but the best for you. But with that said, I don't care who you are. Certain things need to be looked at in a black and white situation, and I'm not about to make any kind of decision with my heart that I know is going to negatively impact me or my family moving forward. I just won't do it. What else did we talk about? So we talked about being a fat ass mentally and physically. We also talked about things like sellouts. I believe Brandon Tatum is an absolute sellout right now. He's got the platform where he could try to crush me and attack my character and everything else, but he won't do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm a nobody right now. I'm not. I haven't been able to speak enough or to promote my channel enough to where more and more people are listening. So the only thing that he would do, which brings me to point two, the only thing that he would be doing by trying to defend himself against what I just said would be bringing me more attention, which would help me more than it would hurt me. But the truth is still there. This is an individual that never speaks positively about his own community or culture. He's trying to prove that he's something that he's not. He's become pro-Israel, and I don't think you can be pro-Israel and a Christian at the same time. That's my personal belief. But at the end of the day, what matters more than anything else is being America first. That doesn't mean that we are against the state of Israel as a government. It doesn't mean that we're against the Jewish community. It doesn't mean that we're against black people, Somali. It doesn't. That's not what it means. And it doesn't even mean that we don't care about the rest of the world because I do. I can't speak for everybody, but I do. What being America first means to me is that we should not be trying to solve problems for everybody else when we can't even solve our own. We have homeless issues. We have housing issues. We have problems with our veterans. We have problems with people being able to find jobs. We have problems with our grocery prices being too high. We have so many problems in our own country right now, but here we are trying to solve everybody else's. We're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries when that same amount of money, think about what could be done with that same amount of money if we just used it here in our own country. And I think at the end of the day, you could be upset by what I just said. Number one, I don't give a shit. But number two, all you got to do is prove me wrong. Prove to me that the hundreds of billions of dollars that are being given to other countries would not serve our own country better. And then go look at these other countries and tell me one other country out there that is doing for us like we are doing for them. That's what I mean by being America first. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of a lot of things. We're going to talk about something different in another video because I'm tired of simple things. I'm tired of feminists. I'm tired of weak ass men. I'm tired. I think all of those things are contributing to the country that we've built, and it isn't. And you can say that it's good all day. The only people who are saying that the situation we're in is good are the people who are benefiting off of it. Nobody living a regular life. Nobody living below minimum wage, not minimum wage status. They got the elites, the lower middle class. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. It tells you where my education level's at. Nobody below middle class status is telling you that the world that we're living in is great. None of them. But we're letting celebrities and politicians and well-paid influencers try to convince us otherwise. Look at everything with your own eyes, man. We're in a bad situation, and it's only going to get worse. And it's not because of our government. It's because we as a people can't accept things for what they are, ask the right questions, stand up for themselves, stop being so sensitive, and accept the reality of what's going on. Convincing men that they're not as strong-minded as they're supposed to be, that we're supposed to be giving up our positions in power because we've been in control too long, because we're leaders of our own families. I'm not trying to control anybody else. And to tell you the truth, I control my situation. And if my kids are in my world, then I'm controlling that situations, not to control them for the rest of their lives, but to teach them to be strong-minded young men and women, successful, and disciplining them in a way that allows them to be successful in their own lives, to make those decisions in their own circle. And that's how we're supposed to be. We need to be coming together more as a people. And the more we can do that and stop a lot for this country than otherwise, when we can get on that level, I can promise you that we may struggle a little while, but we're going to be moving in the right direction. No, because I only got one new member on the site so far. The only other community or platform that we will be using moving forward, other than me speaking on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, is, and we might do Rumble as well later in the future, but is going to be righteous.com. It's spelled right there, RIGHTEUS. That's the community that we're going to be using to share a lot of information with me on the road, or any kind of prizes that we give away in the near future. We have righteous.shop that's going to be selling merchandise that is designed to bring more people together. Where the shirts out there, I'm trying not to be as political with the designs and stuff that we put out there, but you can see shirts up there. Right? We have a love one going out that's going to be really cool for Christians, because inside the word love, you can see imprints of Jesus and stuff inside of that word. I'm probably going to put that up this evening. We've got things like that, and it isn't about any one faith. It isn't about anyone. This is about being Americans before we are anything else. If go into details about all that, I'm just saying that the only other platform that we're using right now is going to be righteous.com. Um, I can promise you that once I'm in the right position, that community is going to grow and grow big. I'm going. One of the first things that I'll be doing is putting it on a stronger server, because I have two apps that we're going to build into the site. So just like with Facebook, you'll be able to use the app that allows you to post things while you're out, and then of course we'll have the chat app where you'll be able to chat with other members of your group or your page or your personal status. And did it freeze again? Oh no, we're there. So check that out. We, like I said, we got a lot of really big things coming up, going on in the future. As far as my platforms and stuff go, I'm doing my best to just do the live streams and the other side, to get clips from the live stream and then share videos from that. Um, this would normally be the point to where if you are watching or listening, you can ask whatever questions that you want. I want to try, even if it's not necessarily about the show, we will kind of pick and choose